Section D, General Assurance Terms, Conditions for participating in federal and state programs. Project Application Amendment Procedure for Federal and State Programs, Green Book, Administrative, Florida Department of Education, 2015. Alright, General Assurance Terms and Conditions for participating in federal and state programs. Department of Education has developed the general assurance, the documentation that must be signed by all agencies and organizations receive the federal, state, and funding. These require Federal Regulation Title 34 CFR 76-301 Education Department General Administration Regulation, which requires the general application subgrantors, subrecipients for participation in federal programs funded by the U.S. Department of Education that meets the requirements Section 442 of General Education Provision Act, or JEPA. Applicable federal statutes, applicable regulations, other federal agency, state laws, regulations pertaining to the expenditures of state funds. Return to Florida Department of Education Bureau Comptroller 325 West Caney Street, 4914 Turlington Building, Tallahassee, Florida 323990400. Community-based organization, faith-based organization, independent colleges, or non-governmental agencies are required to submit a certification page of general assurance with the original signature of the official who is legally authorized to bind it, along with each application submitted with the department. Alright, Authority Data Collection, Title 20, U.S. Standard Code 1232 EA. Planned use of data. The requirements established in the United States Code denoted by the Title 20 U.S. Standard Title 20 Education, Chapter 31, Subchapter 3, Section 1232E stipulate that each location agency, local education agency which participates in applicable program under this federal program federal fund must be available to agencies through state agencies shall submit to the agency general application containing the assurances set forth in subsection 1232EB. Application shall cover the participation of the local education agency or other organization participating in the state and federal programs administered by the Florida Department of Education Assurance Act or set forth below with the general assurance section. Instruction: general assurances will be in effect for the duration of the project it covered. The state agency board administrations of the project covered by the application shall not require the submission or amendment of such an application unless required by a change of the federal state law or otherwise significant change of the circumstance affecting the assurance in such application. The superintendent, agency head, or other authorized officer must sign the certification, return it to the following address. No payment or project grant awards will be made by this agency without a current signed general assurance form on the file. Further information, contact Florida Department of Education Bureau Comptroller 850245041. Certification: I understand officially that I am legally authorized to bind the named agency organization state of Florida hereby apply for the participating in federal funded state funded educational programs on the behalf of the named agency organization below. I certify that the agency will adhere to and comply with the general assurance terms and conditions, all requirements outlined in the project application amendment and amendment procedure, federal state program, Green Book, type, agency name, agency number, type, name and title, authorized official agency head. I certify the agency will adhere with each assurances contained set forth in the general assurance terms and conditions for participation in federal state programs as applicable in the project. For each agency as responsible signature must be original date and area code telephone numbers returned to Florida Department of Education Bureau Comptrollers 914 Turlington Building, 325 West Caney Street, Tallahassee, Florida 323990400. School districts, state colleges, state universities, government entities are required to have the signed certification of general assurance on the behalf of the Department of Bureau of Comptroller bearing the original signature of the core superintendent of the school districts or of the current agency head of the present legal authority to bind the agency. Community-based organization, faith-based organization, independent colleges, or other non-governmental entities are required to submit the certification page general assurance with an original signature agency head who legally authorized to bind an entity along with each application submitted to the department. Alright, general assurance. Assurance is hereby given that extent applicable the recipient of the legal authority to apply for federal state funding with the instruction manageable and financial capability, including funding sufficient to pay for the non-federal share of the project cost as applicable to ensure the proper planning, management, and completion of the project described in this, and applicants submit for the Recipient will administer each program covered by the applicant in accordance with all the applicable laws, regulations, statute, rules, policy, procedures, and program requirements. Recipient will comply with the requirement of the Department Project Application Amendment and Procedure for the Federal State Program or the Green Book. The control funds are provided for the recipient under each program. Title property acquired with those funds will be in a public agency. Public agency will administer those funds for the property. The recipient will have the established maintain a proper accounting system in accordance with the general accepted accounting standards. The recipient will use official accounting procedure that will ensure proper disbursement and accounting for federal, state, and funds paid to the agency under each for the program. Access to documents, papers, and other such records shall be made available to the authorized representative of the U.S. government agencies, but not limited to the Federal Award Agency, Inspector General of Comptroller of the Florida Department of Education, Florida Department of Financial Services, the Auditor General of the State of Florida, for the purpose of the program and official auditing monitoring. The recipient will submit such report to the Florida Department of Education, U.S. governmental agency, if more reasonably required to enable the Florida Department of Education, U.S. governmental agency to perform their duties. The recipient will maintain such official programmatic records, including as required in Title 20 U.S. Standard Code 1234F, will be provided access to the records if necessary for the department agencies to perform their duties. To ensure expenditures reported on proper accordance with the terms of condition of the project award and project approved project budget, the official who authorized the legally binding the agency organization agree with the following certification, official reports, and vouchers requesting payment by signing general assurance of the terms and conditions for the participation in federal state programs. I certify to the best of my knowledge belief that the report submitted is true, complete, accurate, with the expenditure of the disbursement cash recipients or for the purpose of objectively set forth in the terms and conditions of the project award, aware of that any false, fictitious, fraudulent information of the omission of the material fact made subject to the criminal or civil administrative penalties for fraud, false statement, and false claims otherwise. To ensure all applications submitted for the project grant funding are properly in accordance with the terms and conditions outlined with the request for application or the request for proposal, the official of the authorized legally binding agent for the organization agree with the following certification by signing with the general assurance term and condition participate in federal state programs. Certify the best of my knowledge belief of the applicant submitted for the true, complete, with the accurate purpose of the objective of the set forth in the request for application and or request for proposal. I am aware that any false, fictitious, fraudulent information mentioned in the name, material, the name, subject of the criminal, administrative penalties, false statement, the false claims, and otherwise. Recipients will provide reasonable opportunity with a systematic consultation with the participation of the teacher, parents, for the other interested agency, the organization, individuals, including education-related community groups, nonprofit organization, planning for the operation of each program, and application evaluation, periodic program plan reporting relating to each sub-program will be made readily available to parents and other members of the general public. For projects involving the construction, project is not consistent with the Florida Department of Education overall plan for the construction of school facility and developing plan with the construction and consideration will give it an excellence for the architecture of the design compliance with the standard provided in the Secretary of the Education under Section 79, Title 28, in order to ensure the facility of the construction with the other federal funds accessible to use and to usable by the individuals with a disability. When required with the federal program legislation, all construction contracts awarded by the recipient and sub-recipient excess of $2,000 should include a provision compliant with the Davis Beacon Act, Title 40 U.S. Standard Code 276, the 10th sequence, as supplemented the Department of Labor, the regulation, Title 29 CFR Part 5, the Labor Standard Provisions applicable to contracts governing federal finance-assisted construction. The recipient has adopted the effective procedure for requiring disseminating to the teacher of the administrator participation in each of the programs significant information for the educational reach of the demonstration similar product adopting when appropriate promising education practice to develop such projects. Such procedures shall be in compliance with the applicable federal laws and regulation. Recipients will not expend the funds for the applicable program to acquire the equipment included with the computer software and assistance which such for the acquisition result of the direct financial benefit to any of the organization representing the interest of the purchase any or its employees and affiliate such organization. Recipients establish safeguard prohibited employees use of the position for the purpose of the constitute of the present appearance of the personal organization conflict of the interest or personal gain. The recipients will intend complete the work with the applicable time frame and after receipt of the approval of the awarded agency. The receipt comply with the all federal statutes relating with the non-discrimination list group but not limited to Title 6 Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibited discrimination based on the race, color, national origin, or Title 9, the Education Amendment of 1972 is amended, and will prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is amended, which prohibited discrimination based of the handicaps and age discrimination in 1978 as amended, which prohibited discrimination on the basis of the age. Recipient will comply with the Public Law 93-348 with regarding the protection of the human subject involved with the breach of the development of related activities or with the ward assistance. Recipient will comply with the requirements of the Gun-Free School Act of 1994. Recipient will cover the perform required financial compliance audits and according with the Single Audit Act amendment of 1996 with the Title 2 CFR Part 200 Subpart F, the audit requirements or Section 215.97 of the Florida Statute, Florida Single Audit Act is applicable. The recipients assure that no federally appropriated fund have been paid or will be paid by or on behalf of the recipient to any of the person influencing or attempting to influence an officer or an employee of an agency or a member of Congress, officer of the employee of the Congress, or an employee of a member of the Congress in connection making any federal grant, the entering into a competitive cooperative agreement, the extension of the continuation, renewal of the amendment, the modification of any federal grant and cooperative agreement. The recipient will comply with the requirements of Title CFR Part 180, Government-Wide Debarment and Suspension Non-Procurement. The recipient is certified that neither it nor its officers presently debarred, suspended, proposed for the debarment, declared ineligible to voluntarily exclude or voluntarily exclude for the covered transaction by any federal department or agency. The recipient is certified that it will maintain a drug-free workplace and will comply with the requirements of the Drug-Free Workplace Act of 1988. The recipient will comply with all state and federal requirements as applicable to the internal control of the ensure for the compliance with the federal, state, statute, regulation, term of the condition of the awarded. The recipient will comply with the federal, Florida's government and sunshine law, Chapter 286 of the Florida statute that provides right access for the meeting, boards, commissions, and other governing bodies of the state, local government agency of the authority. Recipients will comply with the applicable requirements of all the other federal and state laws, statute, except for the word regulation, policy, term of the condition governing each program funded. If the applicable, the recipient will conduct assessment that is consistent with 1111B3 with the No Child Left Behind Act. If the applicable, the recipient will annually assess for the students who have been in the United States for 3 or more consecutive years. The recipient will annually assess the English proficiency with all participating in limited English proficient children consistent in Section 1111B7 of the No Child Left Behind. If the applicable, after timely, meaningful consultation, recipient will provide the opportunity for the children enrolled with the private and nonprofit school for the educational personnel of the school for the equatable for the participation with the activities. Supervisor provide with the federal funds will notify the official of the private school for the said opportunity. Educational services with other benefits provided, including material and equipment that should be secular, neutral, or non-ideological. Expenditure for the such services with the other benefits should be equal, consistent with the number of the children to be served. The expenditure for the program children enrolled in the public schools of the local education agency. 3. To comply with the general assurance aspect of the project application amendment to achieve the federal state program green book may result in a more restrictive condition of the project termination. Alright, terms. Applicant school district and either the seeking for the project or Florida Department of Education budget for the application financial term of the accounting the amounts of the shown of the funds for the carrying out of the project object with the term of the activities found with the budget of the Department of Education 101 or other budget documents required with the Florida Department of Education budget period interval time in which periodic period is divided in for budgetary purpose capital outlay equipment expenditure for the other tangible personal problem with the non-consumable non-expenditure for the nature the cost of which is $1,000 or more normal expected life of which is 1 or more years. Section 216.01.273.02 Florida statute. Conflict of interest must disclose within writing a potential conflict of interest according to the applicable federal or state law policy. The disbursement payment made in cash or check via the other electronic means. Data universal numbers, 59-digit number issued by the Duns and Bradstreet Company provide with the business information credit marketing purchase the decision of the federal government office of management and budget has adopted to the Duns numbers a unique identified with the registration system ward management or SAM's non-federal entity required to have the Duns number unique entity identified with the register with the SAM's in order to apply and receive the report on federal award. Equipment, material on non-expendable nature for the building and facility, the movable fixture with the furniture and furnishes, instrument apparatus, a machine, including attachments, instructional, skill training device, or set small articles whose are reasonably repairable, whole retaining its identity ultimately over the period of time for which characteristic for the items for its class will be useful life of more than 1 year. Mandatory disclosure must disclose a timely manner in writing all violation of criminal law involving fraud, bribery, gratuity violation, potentially affecting the project award. monitoring actions, activities, practice with the Florida Department of Education, determine the funds for the programs are operated in accordance with the applicable federal, state statutes, rules, and regulations. More restrictive conditions, special requirements for the restriction imposed with the project recipient if the condition of the project approved with the Florida Department of Education. Obligation the amount with the orders played for the contracts award service received or for similar transaction during the stipulated project period, which will require payment during the same with the other future period. Private nonprofit organization, agency, organization, institute with not under federal or public supervision and with control, which is owned or one or more corporations or associations whose net earnings do not benefit that cannot lawfully benefit any private shareholder or any private for profit organization, agency, organization, institute not under federal public supervision control, which is owned or one or more individuals, partnership, corporations, or associations whose net earnings can benefit any private shareholder or any project. These services for the activities programs that entity agrees to provide a specified period of the time using state, federal funds awarded to the project recipient. Project application and either the request for the project award with the state and the federal education and the programs administered with the Florida Department of Education project award. Approval of the project application state with the project award and notification sent with the project recipient specified with the amounts of funds awarded with the project period with any of the special requirement of restrictions to be imposed with the Florida Department of Education. Project period and length of time for which the project has been authorized and awarded. Project recipient, school district, local education, college, university, public agency, including faith-based organization, community-based organization, or non-public agency that has been awarded to provide serve the activities described in the project application approved with the Florida Department of Education roll forward unobligated to balance of an award project that are allowed to be continued in subsequent funding or requirement periods. System Award Management, official U.S. government system consolidated, compiled with the CCR federal regulation, ORCA, APLS, no fee for the register with the SAMs. All applicants must be registered with the SAM before submitting an application for federal funding, continuing with a maintain active SAMs registration. Current information at all times during active award, validated unique identifier required to apply with the SAMS data, universal number for more information regarding unique identifier, see SAMS Gov portal SAMS number 1. Supplies all personal property, excluding equipment and intangible property, debt, instruments, and items expended for the need for the consumer that will worn out, deteriorated use of the loss of the identified fabrication, incorporation into the different and more complex units or substances. Explanation of the grant management requirement. The following section elaborates on certain requirements included with the legislation regulation referred to the general assurance section. This section also explains the broad requirements that apply with the federal program funds. Account records. The recipient shall maintain all accounts records and the other supporting documentation pertaining to the call costs incurred, revenues, other applicable credits for the required for the each project for the minimum of 5 years. Section 6 official program accountability record retention and additional information allowable to costs and accounting for the expenditure for the project grant funds for the recipient sub-recipients may only charge the expenditure for the project award if they are payable. The obligation include the duration approved for the project period and conformance with the project approved project in compliance with all the applicable states and regulatory provisions and costs for the applicable and particular costs for the objective either spent only with the reasonable and necessary costs of the program. F not used for the general expense for the required to carry out the responsibility of the recipient or sub-recipient. All of the required recipients must have written procedure to determine allowability in accordance with subpart E of the cost principle of Title 2 CFR Part 2 on the terms and conditions of the project award. Amendments. Unless otherwise stated, all recipient receipts shall be used with the proper amendment requirements and proceed with the described in project application amendment. Proceed with the federal, state, and programs administered with the Florida Department of Education Green Book Section B project amendments. Audits. So this part is applicable to all non-federal entities defined in Title 2 CFR 200 subpart F. In the event of the recipient is more than $750,000 federal award officially with the recipient a single program specific audit connected within accordance with the Division Title 2 CFR 200 for Part F. Determine the federal awards expended with officially with the recipient will consider all sources of federal awards, include federal resources, receive the department the determination of the amount of the federal awards expended should be in accordance with the guidelines established Title 2 CFR 200 subpart F. The audit recipient conduct with the auditor general in accordance with the provision Title 2 CFR 200 subpart F will meet the requirements of this part. 2. In connection with the audited requirement, the recipient shall also fulfill the requirements of relative to the auditor responsible to provide with the Title 2 CFR 200-508. And the recipient expends less than $750,000 federal awards in fiscal year with the audit conducted in accordance with the Division Title 2 CFR 200 subpart F is not required. The recipient spends less than $750,000 federal award fiscal year with the elects to have with the audit conducted in accordance with the Division Title 2 CFR 200 subpart 200 subpart F. The cost of audit must be paid with the non-federal resource. The cost such for the audit must be paid with the recipient resource obtained with the non-federal entities. audit and state-funded program of the parts applicable to the project recipient of the non-state entity with a defined section 215.972 of Florida statute. In the event of the project recipient expends a total amount of state financial assistance equal to or excessive to $500,000 fiscal year, the recipient must have the state single of the project specifically audit and for each fiscal year within accordance with section 215.97 of the Florida statute applicable to the Department of Financial Services, chapter 10.550 local government entities or 10.6550 non-profit or for-profit organization rules for the auditor general with determination state financial assistance expand with the fiscal year of the recipient shall consider all sources of state financial assistance, including state financial assistance received by the Department of other state agencies and other non-entity state financial assistance that does not include the federal direct and pass-through awards for resources and the non-state entities federal program matching requirements. 2. In connection with the audit requirements above, the project recipient shall ensure that the audit comply with the requirements of Section 215.97 with the Florida statute. This include with the submission financial reporting packages as defined in Section 215.97 of the Florida statute, Chapter 10.550 for the local government and 10.650 for the profit and non-profit organization rules of the auditor general. If the project a recipient expended less than $500,000 in state financial assistance official over the year when the audit conducted in accordance with the provision Section 215.97 Florida statute is not required in the event where the recipient expends less than $500,000 state financial assistance official year with the less than half of the audited connected in accordance with the provision Section 215.97 of the Florida statute. Costs of the audit must be paid from the non-state entity. The resource for the cost of the audit must be paid for the project recipient resource for the same with the non-state entities. Pursuant to Section 215.97 and 8, Florida statute for the state agency conduct the range of the audits of the state financial assistance. There are in addition audits conducted in accordance with Section 215.97 of the Florida statute. Such event, the state award agency must arrange the funding of the full cost such as the additional audits. Reports to be submitted. Copy of the reporting packet of the audits conducted in accordance with Title 2 CFR 200 subpart F shall be submitted and acquired by Title 2 CFR 205.12D by and on behalf of the recipient directly and the following with the Department of Education Bureau contracts grants the procurement management service to 344 Turlington Building, 325 West Caney Street, Tallahassee, Florida 32399. 323-990-400, Florida Department of Education Program, off the address of the state projected awarded notification, Federal Audit Clearinghouse, Title CFR 2, CFR 200, subpart F, required with the auditor to electronically submit the data collection described in 200-512B, and reporting package described in 200-512C with the Florida Federal Auditing Clearinghouse at harvestcensus.gov. Copy of the financial reporting package submitted on the behalf of the recipient directly to each of the following: Florida Department of Education Bureau contract grants, procurement, and management for the 344 Turlington Building, 325 West Beganis Building, Tallahassee, Florida 323-990-400, Florida Department of Education Program, Office address stated on the project award notification, Auditor General Office 401 Pepper Building on 111 West Madison Street, Tallahassee, Florida 32399-1450. Copy of the report management letter shall be submitted on behalf of the recipient directly to the Florida Department of Education Bureau contract grants of procurement management at 344 Turlington Building, 325 West Caney Street, Tallahassee, Florida 32399-0400, Florida Department of Education Program, Office address and state of the project award notification. In response to the request of the federal agency, audits must be submitted a copy of the management letters issued by the auditor, Title 2, CFR 200-512E. Any reports of management letter of the other information required to submit with the department, pursuant to the agreement of the will be submitted in a timely manner in accordance with Florida Statute, Chapter 10.550 for local government entities, 10.650 for nonprofit or for-profit organization rule for the auditors as applicable. The recipients when submitting financial reporting packet with the department audits completed in accordance with Title 2, CFR 200, subpart F, the chapters 10.550 with the local government entity, 10.650 of the nonprofit and for-profit organization rule of the auditor general should indicate with the date of the reporting package delivered with the recipient and corresponding accompanying with the reporting package. Alright, David speaking. As amended in Title 40 U.S. Standard Code 276 at 10. Sequence will require the federal reg program legislation on construction contracts award with the recipients of the recipients of more than $2,000 should include with the provision compliant with the David speaking Act. Title 40 U.S. Standard Code 276 at 10 sequence as supplemented the Department of Labor Regulation Title 29 CFR Part 5 of the Labor Standards provisions applicable to contracts governing federal financing assisted construction. Under this Act, the contractor shall be required to pay the wages to the laborers of the mechanics at a rate not less than the minimum wage specified with the wage determination made. Secretary of Labor and for the contract shall be required with a paid wage not less than once a week. The recipient shall pay a copy of the current prevailing wage determination issued by the Department of Labor each solicitation or over the contract condition with acceptance of the wage determination recipient should report in suspect of the reported violation of federal awarding agency Department of Labor regulation rules instruction concerning implementation of the Davis Beacon Act, the other labor laws that are defined in Title 29 CFR 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7 of the Department and suspension of the other responsible manners as required by the Executive Order 12.549 and 12.689 of the Debarment and suspension implemented in Title 2 CFR Part 180 prospective participant primarily covered in the transaction defined Title 2 CFR 180, 120, 180, 125, 180, 200. No contract shall be made to parties identified in General Service Administration excluded parties list system and is excluded in the Federal Procurement and Non-Procurement Program in accordance with the Executive Order 12.549, 12.689 Debarment and suspension listing contained with the name of the party the Department is suspended otherwise excluded by agency contractor declared ineligible to use the statutory regulatory authority other than the Executive Order 1254-9. Contractors award exceeding the small purchase threshold should provide with the required certification regarding the exclusion status of their principal employees. Federal government imposed the requirement in order to protect the public interest and ensure that the only reasonable organization and individual business of the government and receive the specific government grant funds federal to adhere to the requirements may have severe the consequence, for example, the disallows cost termination from the project department to ensure that the requirement is met. For options pertaining satisfaction sub-guarantee if the contract is not suspended with the department disqualified, they are the applicant and certified with its principal that are not presently disbarred, suspended, procured, proposed for the department to declare that ineligible to voluntary exclude for the covered transaction by the federal department or agency have not within 3-year period preceding the application been convicted or had a civil judgment rendered against them with the commission for all of the criminal offense with the connection with the obtaining and attempting to obtain performing a public or federal state law local transaction or contract for the public transaction federal violation federal state antitrust statute, the commission with investment, theft, forgery, bribery, falsification, destruction of the records, making false statement, the receiving of stolen property, are not presently indicated otherwise criminally or civilly charged with the government, any federal, state, or local with the commission, any of the offenses enumerated with the certification. Have not within 3-year period preceding the application have one or more public transaction, federal, state, and local terminated to cover the default. If the application is unable to certify with the statement of the certification, he or she should attach an explanation for the application drug-free workplace grantors of the other individuals. Has required drug-free workplace in 1988 implemented in Title 34, 84, 200, and 84, 610. The applicant certified that it will continue to provide drug-free workplace by publishing a statement and notifying the employees on flaw, manufacture, distribution, dispensing, possession, even the control substance that prohibited the grantor's workplace with a specified the action will take with the against the employee with a violation such a prohibition. Establishing requirement in Title 34 CFR 84, 215 ongoing drug awareness program to inform the employees about the danger of drug at work, drug abuse in the workplace, drug policy with the maintain with the drug-free workplace and available to drug counseling with the rehabilitation employee with the assistant program, the penalty with the main imposed upon employee with the drug abuse violation occurring in the workplace, and requiring each employee to give the performance of the project, given a copy of the statement, and notifying the employee statement of the condition of the employment under the project of the employee abide by the terms and state. By the terms of the statement, and notify the employer writing that his or her conviction of the violation of the criminal drug statute occurring in the workplace no later than 5 calendar days after the such conviction. Notifying the agent written within 10 calendar days received the notice of the employee's conviction of the violation of criminal drug statute of the workplace as required in the Title 34 CFR 84 205 C2 from an employee otherwise receiving the actual notice of employee conviction. Employees convicted employees must provide a notice for the including position to file Title II, Director, Grants, and Contracts with the U.S. Department of Education, Corner, Maryland Avenue, Southwest, Room 381, 24 GSA, Regional Office Building, Number 3, Washington, D.C., 202-02457. The notice shall include the identification number to each of the effective of the grant. Taking one of the following actions stated in Title 34 CFR 84-225. B, with a 30 calendar day of the receipt of the required notice of the suspected of the employee with the convicted of the violation criminal drug statute of the workplace. Taking appropriate personal action again with such an employee with the act that include the termination consistent with the requirement of rehabilitation, Act 1983, and amending requiring such employment to participate in satisfactory drug abuse assistance rehabilitation program of such purpose of the federal, state, local health and law with the enforcement of other appropriate agency. In good faith effort maintain drug-free workplace for the implementation requirement of data universal number system. Federal government requires the organization to provide with a data universal number system you can identify with the register for the system award SAMs as part of the grant application application proposal with the DUNS number, the unique identifier, 9-digit number issued with the Dun Bradstreet Company. The company provide business information, credit, marketing, purchasing decisions. Some of the entities will have also known as DUNS plus 4, which would identify specific units for the larger entity. Register for the DUNS number, the unique identifier with the free charge with no obligation to purchase at any private DUNS Street badge sheet, and authorizing official to meet the organization should request the number. Generally, it only takes a day. Obtain the DUNS number by the phone 1-866-705-5711. Application for the DUNS Bradstreet website can take up to 30 days. All recipients, sub-recipients from the federal funds must obtain the DUNS number, use any identifier, register SAMs prior to applying the project award. Or EDGAR, or Education Department General Administrative Regulations. The Federal Administrative Regulations, Education Title 34, CFR Parts 75, 76, 77, 79, 81, 82, 84, 86, 89, 87, 98, 99, or revised in December 26, 2014. Implementation Uniform Administrative Requirement, Cost Principal Audit Requirements of Federal Awards, Uniform Grant Guidance, and Delete. Title 34, CFR Part 74, 80, and 85. Part 85 changed to Title 2, CFR Part 2, 180, including the deleted regulation Uniform Grants Guidance. Both administrative the regulation EDGAR Uniform Grants Guidance apply to all federal project awards. Our General Education Provision Act, or JEPA, requirement section 427 of the Federal Requirement Equity of the Student, Teacher, for the other program beneficiaries. Purpose of section 427 of the General Education Provision Act is ensure the equal access for the education promote the educational excellence. They ensure equal opportunity to participate in all eligible students, teacher for the other program beneficiary proposed project promote the ability to suffer the students and teacher beneficiaries to meet with the high standard further design their project. The grant application must agree or a special need for the equity concern that might affect the ability of the student teacher for the other program beneficiary to participate fully in proposed project. Program staff granting instituting must ensure the information required in Section 427 of the General Education Provision Act include each for the application of the Department of Funds. There may be a few cases such for the research grants such as Section 427 that may not applicable because the projects don't have the individual project beneficiary contact with the government printing office should be either believe the situation of the kind exists. In addition, all application package for the discretionary grants and cooperative agreements for them must include the notice to all applicants attached that explain with the requirements Section 427. Statute highlights 6 types of barrier that competitive with the equitable acts for the participation, gender, race, national origin, color, disability, age. Based on local circumstances, the application determining whether the other barrier that may prevent participation from the acts of the participation from the federal assistance project with the help of the applicant will overcome these barriers. The description must provide with a single narrative if appropriate when it may be described in connection with the other related to application. The applicant should be asked to state within the table of contents if the requirement is met. Department program staff members are responsible for screening each applicant to ensure that the requirements for the section are met before making award. If the condition is not met after the application has been selected, the funding of the program should contact the applicant to find out why the information is missing. Document must be on the project file with indicating a review of the completed before the award is made, and oversight of the curve of the program staff may be given the applicant another opportunity to satisfy the requirement must receive the missing information before making award. Title 34 CFR 75-231. All applicants for the new awards must satisfy the provision and receive the funding. These seeking continuation awards do not need to submit information beyond the descriptions included in their original application. Alright, gun possession. As required in Title 14 of the Part F of Section 14601 Gun-Free School Act of 1994 of the Improve the American School Act, applicants certify the compliance with Section 1006-13-3 of the Florida statute. Students who are determined to have brought with a firearm defined in Title 18 U.S. Standard Code 921 to school with any school function, any other school-sponsored transportation will be expelled with or without continuing education service if the singular regular service for a period of no less than 1 full year referred to the criminal justice juvenile system. School boards may assign with a student with a disciplinary planning program second chance school for the purpose of continuing education service during the period of expulsion. Superintendents may consider the 1-year expulsion requirements on a case-to-case basis for the end request of the school board modify the requirement determined to be in the best interest of the student in the school system. Or indirect cost. Administrative fees. School district for the department has given the authority to use the Department of Education to negotiate indirect cost for the proposal to approve the indirect cost of the school district school Districts are required to develop the indirect cost proposal. If they fail to do so, they will not be allowed to recover the indirect cost of the amounts of zero. The must be maximum negotiated rate by approved from the program or a project with the Department of Education compensable. The indirect cost should only apply with a federal project. Or state agency, local government, Indian tribal governments, universities, colleges, all of the non-government agency of the department will allow the state, the university, state college, private college, the university, non-government agency, the chain of travel, the indirect administrative and overhead up to 8% of the agency, the restricted rate by appropriate cognizant agency, whichever level of the rate may be determined, the total direct and disbursed less of the amounts of the excess of the $25,000. Stipulated tuition related fee of the items, equipment, and alteration of the renovation of the flow-through funds passed through with another entity on project issue by the department. The rate is intended all inclusive of the typical administrative overhead cost, and not include limited to the rental, office space, of the bookkeeping, the accounting, the service, the utility, the alternative. Department will approve the indirect cost of the 8%. Plus the direct charges of the typical administrative the overhead cost for the office space for the rental, which sign such cost directly appropriately allocated to the program, recover the indirect of the above the 8% of the agency of the other than the school district must furnish the Department of Education comptroller over the copy of the current negotiated restricted indirect cost plan that have been approved with the appropriate cognizant agency amount of 8% of the maximum negotiated rate approved with the project and program project with the department controller for the agencies must have the indirect except for the 8% limit and no charge directly satisfying matching costing requirements. Change the charge to another federal award. Indirect cost shall apply with the federal projects. Restriction funds for the administration restricted the amount of the percentage of that charge for the project administration was to include for the indirect cost will be reflected with the request for proposal, request for application, and or approved project award, notification, or amendment where applicable. Administrative fee for the non-federal funds. Administrative fees may be approved by the department or non-federal project not to exceed 5% with the total cost of the project. Interest income based on Section 216, 181, 16B, Florida Statute, Title 2, CFR 200, 305.9. Project grant recipient shall remit the annual basis interest earned on cash advance to the department. Lobbying. In accordance with Section 216, 347 of the Florida Statute, the disbursement of grant aid, the appropriations of the lobby prohibit the department may authorize to make an disbursement of the grants aid with appropriations pursuant to the contract grant of any person in the organization left for the terms of the grant contract prohibit the expenditure of the funds for the purpose of the lobbying of the legislative judicial branch of the state agency of the provision of the section supplemental of the provision section 11.062 Florida statute, any other law prohibiting use of the state funds for lobbying purposes. Alright, as required in 1352 Title 31 U.S. Standard Code that implemented in Title 34 CFR Part 82 for the person entering the grant with a cooperative agreement of over $100,000 defined in Title 30 CFR 82105 and 82110. An applicant certifies no federal appropriated funds have been paid or will be paid on the behalf of the undersigned to any person influencing, attempting to influence an officer, employee of the agency, members of the Congress, officer, employee of the Congress, an employee of a member of the Congress connection making any federal grant and entering it into the cooperative agreement that extends for the continuation, renewal, amendment, and modification of any federal grant and cooperative agreement. If any of the other funds appropriately found that have been paid will be paid to any of the influencing, attempting to influence of the employee of the agency, member of the Congress, officer of Congress, employee of the member in Congress, connection with a federal grant cooperative agreement undersigned shall complete with the submit standard form L disclose the form to report lobbying in accordance with those instructions. Undersigned shall require that the language certification include the award documentation, all sub-awards, all terriers, including subcontract, sub-grant contracts under the grant cooperative agreements, and all sub-recipients shall certify and disclose accordingly. Alright, monitoring. In addition, review the audit conducted in accordance with Title 2 CFR 200 subpart F of the Section 215.97 of the Florida statute. Monitoring procedure that may include, but not limited to, on-site visits with the department staff, limited scope audits, and or other procedure by entering the agreement, the project agreement, the recipient agreement to comply with the cooperative with the monitoring procedure, the process for the deemed appropriate by the department, in an event with the department, in terms of limited scope audit with the recipient for the appropriate recipient agreement to comply with additional instructions provided with the department staff with the recipient regarding such an audit. The recipient further agrees to comply with the cooperative and with any inspection review of the investigations over the audits deemed necessary by the Chief Financial Officer for the Auditor General. More restricted condition, the project recipient fund with the non-compliant for the program and fund sources, the requirements for determining the high risk shall subject to the imposition. More respect for the conditions, see with the section G with the condition for the approval of the project applicant for the project amendments and or the determination of the project for additional information. Obligation of the project recipient. The obligation will be conservative to have and incurred with the project recipient on the basis of the documentary evidence for the binding of the commitments of the acquisition goods of the property for the performance of the work, except for the funds of the personnel for the services of the performance of the public utility for travel. The rental facility should be considered having been obligated at the time such services rendered, such travel was performed when facility was used. Ownership of the product, intellectual property. Ownership of the products result of the project subject to the intellectual property rights shall remain with the department except for the ownership is explicitly waived with the following terms shall be conditioned all of the grants and project recipients unless explicitly waived. With respect to all of the products created with a guarantee with the grantor for the project with a set of the materials will be with the property of the department to consent with the product with the concept of the working within U.S. copyright law of Title 17 U.S. Standard Code at U.S. CS 101 attempt sequence. It shall be a work for hire in an event with a court of the competent jurisdiction determine the product of the material is not work for hire with a matter of law with the contract will assign the convey with the department all right and title interest of the product or of the material of the required its employee subcontractor do the same. The grantor agreed to employ with a non-servant any ownership of the product produced under the project guarantee with the responsible acquiring necessary relief establishing and improve the contact provision of dealing with the employee with the subcontractor in order to ensure that the apartment owner their rights. And the claim of the grantor of the ownership of the pre-existing copyright should be explicitly stated in the project documentation. Grantor agreed to hire as a third party to perform any work on the project. Work should be work for hire based for the not being infringed upon the department's ownership of the product. The grantor of any of the not conveying the rights of the product to a third party. If the grantor hires a third party to perform any work involved with the pre-existing intellect content award and third party shall expressly assert the ownership of the content shall the grant of the grantor of the department non-exclusive license to use the product. Licensing agreement and other agreement regarding the use of the intellectual property developed in the project may be developed between the department and grantor and in order to further the use of the product to the educational community. Participation in private school students and staff in federal grants. Students and staff in non-public schools shall be given an opportunity for equitable participation in activities served with the conduct of the school district using federal funds. Appropriate personnel must be aware of any consult with the product specific guidelines discussed in the applicable program statute, regulation, and guidance document. Personal cost of the time distribution. On the team of the federal project, the personal costs, where they're treated directly and indirectly, allowed with the extent of the satisfied with the department requirements, specific requirement of L2 CFR 200-430 will be based on payroll documentation according to the general accepted practice of the local education agency approved with the responsible official local education agency. When employees work solely on a single federal award of the cost objective of the charge of the sale of their wages may be supported with personal activity reports of the periodic certification, at least semi-annual, with the employees work solely on the program period covered by the certification. Certification must be signed by the employee, supervisor, or official having the first-hand knowledge work performed by the employee. When the employees work on a multiple activity cost objective of more than one federal project, the federal project, non-federal project, indirect cost of activity, or indirect cost activity, two or more indirect cost activity which are allocated to either different allocation bases or an allowable activity direct or indirect cost activity distribution with the salary wages will be supported with a personal activity report. The equivalent documents meet the following standards. Reflecting after the fact distribution actual activity of each employee account with the total activity which each employee is compensated with prepared recently monthly most coincide with one or more pay periods signed and dated of the employee. U.S. Department of Education has approved for youth the Florida substitute system allocation facility of the federal project that the substitute system personal activity reporting system or PARS may be implemented in the school district as long as implemented in accordance with the department approved substitute system. The documents approved available upon the request Department Bureau of Contracts, Grants, and Procurement Management. So when the school of the district chooses the substitute with no variations allowed without specific written authorization from the department, school district chooses not to even approve substitute system must implement a system that meets with all the requirements both the department and Title II CFR 200-430. School district chooses the department substitute system must furnish for the Department of Education with the comptroller office district policy and procedures which specify the reporting months as well as the actual time reporting instrument with approval for each of the district. Given the authorization to adopt the substitute system written approval agreement will be in effect for the duration district participation substitute system until such time and the requirements change for the department. Note that does not authorize the school district to consolidate administrative funds fine except if the otherwise otherwise state with the project award notification or use teams as base for the allocation personnel costs and the methods only to the department. Project effective date for the federal funds. Program funds shall be obligated no earlier than the day of the project application was received. The department determined the substantial available form and the effective date with a federal grant award, which was delivered later. For state program funds shall be obligated no earlier than the effective date of legislative operation, usually July 1st. All project award notification reflect the beginning and end dates of the project period of any submission finding expenditure of the report. All conditions stated with the award notification are considered building project recipient property purchased in whole or in part with the federal funds should be given the purpose of the federal program account for the corners of the applicable federal statutes, the rules and regulations to follow the disposition of the equipment based on the section 273.055 Florida statute rule 69 I 72.002 and 69 I 73.005 Florida Administration Code. Original replacement equipment acquired under the grant or sub-grant is no longer lead the original project or program offer. The activity currently previously supported the federal agency disposition of the equipment and will be made as follows. Items of the equipment within acquisition cost less than $1,000 may be retained solely, otherwise disposed with no further obligation for the awarding agency for the income received from one of these states will not be reported to the department. Items of the equipment of the acquisition cost of the $1,000 or useful life of the 1 year more than retained the sole of the awarding agency shall have the right of the amount calculated with multiplying current market value perceived in the sale of the award agency share of the equipment. In each case, the grantor or sub-grantor takes an appropriate disposition act for the awarding agency for the directive of the grantor or sub-grantor to take excessive disposition action. The department policy concerns perceived the receipt of the sale of the property. The current per unit fair of market value of $1,000 to $5,000 net amount. The receipt of those sales will remain in the sub-grantor level to be used in the same ongoing program. Funds from our sale to be attributed to other programs income on sale. Same ongoing program. The type of the income must amend with the current year's project in which the sale occurred. It should then be reported online at 11th project disbursement form 399, 499, or 599 with the Department of Education. As a total for the official year for the sales required with the identification income and the density to meet the reporting requirement of the United States Department of Education. Complete documentation for this income and expenditures must be maintained. Monitoring auditing process. Income from the sale of the type of the property shall record agency special revenue account as other income. Identifies such for the federal cash advance reconciliation and official year for the agency that no longer receiving the funds of the project of the program of the income for such equipment and will be returned to the department forward the United States Department of Education equipment that was initially purchased federal funds with the current per unit fair market value excessive of $5,000 must be processed in accordance with Title 2 CFR 200-313 E2 with assistance written approval of the department. Disposition of real property. Disposition of real property will be handled individual based local education agency that will coordinate with the real property disposition of the program coordinator responsible for the particular project or program with the real property with the purchase of the property purchased entirely with the state fund shall meet with the minimum requirements of the auditor general defined by the county district tangible personal property publication in addition with the local perceived section F of the program income interest income with the disposition of the equipment additional information inventory of the property all project recipients ensure the complete physical inventory of all property is taken at least once each year. Chapter 69 I 72006 Florida Administration Code. Heart protected prayer in public elementary and secondary schools required in Section 9524 Elementary and Secondary Education of 1965. It is amended with the No Child Left Behind the Act of 2001. School districts and other local education agencies may certify annually that they have no policy that prevents otherwise denies participation constitutionally protected prayer in public elementary and secondary school. Purchasing. All recipients and sub-recipients must have the documented procurement policy perceived to meet with the minimum requirements of federal, state, statute, rules, regulation, over the uniform administration requirements, procurement standards, Title 2 CFR 200-317 to 200-326, reporting requirements, financial disbursement. Alright, federal project requirements for the cash advance required for the report disbursement. You for the cash advance reporting disbursement system cards by submitting project budget summary disbursement DOE Department of Education Form 399, 499, or 599 annually for each activity. The report must be received with the Department of Education Comptroller Office by the 20th of the month succeeding the final month where the disbursement was made. With some of these reports, timely manner may result with a decree to delay monthly cash advance lots of funds. Other federal project recipients are required to report in accordance with the instructions stated in the project award notification. State project recipients shall submit reports as required by the department. Audit reports shall be sent in accordance with the Section 215 1997, the Florida statute. Florida Department of Education Bureau contract grants the procurement management for the 344 Terminal in Building 329 at 5 West Gaining Street, Tallahassee, Florida 323990400. Alright, requirements laid with the Retention Act for the project grant records for the determined federal, state laws, rules, and regulations. Federal regulation, Title 2 CFR 200-333, address the retention requirement of the records apply with all financial problematic records supporting with the documentation, statistical records, all other non-federal entity records for pertain with the federal project award, if any of the litigation claiming the audit started before the expiration date of the retention period of the record is maintained until the litigation claim of the audit findings involved with the records have been resolved with the final taken. In the Florida General Record Schedule GSI SL1 state local government agencies at DOS myflorida.com Library Archive of the Records Managed General Record Schedule, whose the following requirements related to the grant recipients of this record series of documents active with relating the grant fund project conducted by the grant recipients include the application profit receipt, expenditure of the grant funds. The files may include, but not limited to, the grant application contract agreement with grant staff and narrative financial reports. Supporting documentation project completion has occurred until all reporting requirements are satisfied. Final payment has been reached. Length of the retention of the records of Florida is 5 years after the completion of the project, provided with the applicable audits that have been released. Assets required to grantee, sub-grantees, the expiration of the rights of the access is found with Title 2 CFR 200-336 A, A and C, which states, record of the non-federal entity of the federal awarded agency, Inspector General of the Comptroller of the United States, of the pass-through entity with any other authorized representative that include but not limited to the Florida Department of Education, Florida Department Financial Service, the Auditor General State of Florida, and must have the rights of the access to documents paid with the other record of the non-federal entity which are pertaining to the federal award. In order to make audits, examination experts for the transact with the rights also include timely, reasonable access to the non-federal entity with the personnel for the purpose of the interview with the discussion related to such documents. Expiration rights for the access of the right of access to the section are not limited to the required retention period, but as long as the records are retained. Alright, Single Audit Act. If the recipient expends the state financial assistance equal to excess of $500,000 a year, recipient is requirement of the Florida Single Audit Act if the expends federal financing assistance equal to in excess of $750,000 officially of the recipient subject to the requirements of the Federal Single Audit Act. Project grants awarded with the Florida Department of Education as recipients will subject to the audits monitoring of the department. Supplemental, non-supplemental, in accordance with the program, specific authorization laws, requirement, regulations implementing those laws with federal funds must generally, even to increase the extent practical level, and non-federal funds must be available in absence of the federal funds, not even the case for the replace of the federal funds. The Stevens Amendment. All federally funded projects must comply with the Stevens Amendment of the Department of the Defense Operations Fund. Section 8136 is provided. When issuing statement of press release with the request for the proposal bid solution of the documentation described of the project program funds in whole for the power of the federal money, all of the grantee of the receipt of the federal funds and not included but not limited to state local governments, which should clearly state the percent of the total cost of the program project will be funded federal money with the dollar amount of the federal funds of the project or the program, the percentage of the dollar amount with the total cost of the project or program that will be funded with the non-government sources. Alright, travel. The travel to perform in connection with the proof of the project activity must comply with the current section 112061 Florida statute, which covers the per diem and allowing with the travel expense of the Florida Department of Education travel manual available at florida.org. 112061 Florida statute applicable to the county officers of the district school board, special district, metropolitan planning organization, established statutory authority allowing specified entities to establish travel reimbursement rates for the authorized established by section 112061 6A, 6B, and 7D. Florida statutes. Each entity must comply with, in accordance with the statute, include with the project application copy of the applicable document, ordinance, resolution, policy, or rule that have the detailed description on the project budget form. Alright, uniform administrative requirements, cost, principally audit requirements of federal awards, uniform grants, guidance, or UGGs, Title CFR Part 200 went into effect December 26, 2014, consolidated previous requirements of Office Management Budget Circular A21, A87, A89, A102, and A110, A122, A33, uniform set rule, focus the change in the office of the management budget, streamlining federal government guidance on the administrative requirements, cost, principal, audit requirements from the federal awards. These regulations are required for all federally funded project programs. Alright, Section 8, Complaint Procedures.